Good. How are you doing?
Good, man. We're live already. Can you believe that?
Holy moly. And we still have one more minute and we're live.
And it's Monday.
Yikes.
That means it's Promar Ahi USA Monday. We're coming to the end of this lobster thing, right?
Yes, we are, unfortunately. But
Oh.
guess what we get to look forward to?
Rock cod.
Next season of Lobster.
Oh, yeah. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And then rockfish in a week and a half. Just so exciting.
Yes.
So you were going tonight. You had a group going tonight, but the powers that be decided no. It's going to be blowing 15. It's going to be blowing 15 by 3 o'clock inside the harbor, everybody.
Yeah, it's not a good day. Everyone that's watching right now and people that are going to join here, it's not a good night to go out lobstering tonight. It's 15 starting at 3 p.m. and it's going up to 21.
Woo! Yeah, that's some phenomenal nautical weather inside the harbor.
Yeah, absolutely crazy.
Inside the harbor. That's crazy.
And there's only a couple days left after today of lobster fishing. So if you're going to go out, you have tomorrow and then you have the next day. And both days, Tuesday and Wednesday, look pretty phenomenal out there.
Yeah, it was when you told me about the weather tonight. I just opened up windy.com on my iPad, and it looks like it's going to be 4 knots of wind or less at 5 o'clock tomorrow night inside the harbor. So
Yeah.
you have an opportunity to do something that everybody should be excited about because of the fact that you canceled tonight because of the weather. Lisa's going to be on the boat tomorrow night if you can find 3 more people to go, right?
Yes. So if you would like to go, this is a last minute opportunity. We're going to go out tomorrow. I need 4 people to go. We're going to go with either a deckhand or no deckhand. We'll see how it is because it's last minute. But if you'd like to go, give me a call, 951-703-9442.
And gang, you got to think about this. This is the last night. You're not going to get to go. It's over. He's got a charter on Wednesday night with Cut, and it's done. That's the end of the season. And you're all watching that video we posted this morning. That thing's on a mission, Justin. That's going to be another 1 million view video of you and Tut and that monster lobster coming over the rail. Everybody loves that thing.
Yeah.
So you got an opportunity for that. I guess you better jump on it quick. I'm looking at Justin right now. I think he's getting some text messages on his phone. You better jump if you're thinking about going, gang. You know what happens when Justin announces a trip. You hesitate at all, so text him right now if you want to go with him. It looks to me like he's looking down at his phone. Getting some messages.
Yeah.
And let everybody know what the cost is for tomorrow night, which is pretty spectacular also.
$200 per person.
And that's to go catch some lobsters and be on a live fishing show.
Yeah.
That 30, 40,000 people a night watch, so that your family and friends can watch you fishing on the boat live, which is very unique. No one's ever done this before. So like night before last, you get to see if he's gonna get him or not. He had his friends. There was never a night where he wanted to catch him more than night before last.
That was such a spur of the moment. We didn't even know if we were going to go. We were going to go the night before. And then my friends really came down here to go look for snakes. That's what they came down here for. And the weather was crap to look for 42 degree weather, 44 degree weather. We found some. It was pretty crazy, but we found some. And we were sitting there twiddling our thumbs, messing around with a new project that we're doing. And Amanda goes, "Hey, you guys want to go lobster fishing?" And I was like, "Oh, what a great idea. I didn't even think about that." So yeah, and they're like, yeah, let's go. So we looked at the weather. One thing came to another, and we didn't go. So the weather was kind of junk that day. So the next day we wake up and we're ready to go look for snakes again. And we're like, okay, well, let me call Dave and see maybe if the snake thing doesn't work out, we'll go live and go lobstering. So I called Dave and said, hey, we may go live tonight. He's, oh, that's a great idea. You got to go. I said, well, it depends. If we find snakes, then we won't go live. But We won't go lobstering, but if we do find snakes and yada, 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 back and forth. Dave's like, I hope you don't find anything and you go out lobstering.
Yes, I did.
So we went out and we found snakes. And my buddy's kids, one of them's a Coast Guard member, they're all like, hey, I want to go lobstering. I've never done that. I want to go lobstering. So I was all right, forget it. It's too cold. Let's go home. Let's go lobstering. So that's what we did. It was a spur of the moment. We got out really late. We had to scramble around to find some bait. And it was really go, 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 go. We had to hurry up and go get lobster cards, go get fishing licenses, run down to the boat all the way from Riverside. It was a lot of fun. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. That's saying hello. And we got out there, and there was the most people I've ever seen. More people than opening night. There was people everywhere. So it was cool seeing all those people. We put our nets down, didn't really put them in the exact spots I wanted to be at. We're like, oh, we'll just try it. We already knew that we were going to cut it short that night, only for like an hour, hour and a half.
Yeah.
So that was our plan, is to go out there for an hour, hour and a half, because Amanda had to be back to get up early on Sunday because she sings in church. So we had to cut it short. And I was like, oh, well, let's head back. And then I don't really think until the last second, as everyone can see. But as we're packing up, I'm like, oh, well, what if I just drop you off and I stay out here with my friends and we continue on and we'll go try some other places that I've never been to. And she was like, yeah, just drop me off and you guys do whatever you want. I'm like, well, heck, if that's the way it is, we're out of here. Let's go drop off my wife and kids, and we'll come back out. So that's what we did.
Nice. Jason Cutter, if you could make us a video of those grunion, I need a video about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes long. That would be insane. Or if you have one like that. I'm glad you were out there every night catching grunion. That's awesome. And then you guys that saw the video or the pictures of Ryland, yeah, pretty amazing. Catching rattlesnakes with flip-flops on. People are commenting on that. But you guys don't know who Ryland's father is. There's not a lot of people on the planet that know more about snake hunting than Justin Botrell. So Ryland's in good hands. The chance of Ryland getting bit, whether he's got boots on or flip-flops, is about the same amount. 0. Dad would never allow that to happen. So, yeah, that was a pretty cool picture, though, Justin, when you posted it, of Ryland standing there with his flip-flops on and that little rattlesnake. It's like, dude, really? And Brian Carter, always a pleasure to see you on here. Thank you for joining us, and the rest of you, all of you that always come on here. And then Lisa, we're trying to get the boat filled up for you for tomorrow night so you can go. I know there's one person that's more disappointed about the end of lobster season than you and I, and that's Lisa, because she's had a hell of a time this year doing it, boy. She is pretty bummed it's over. So we got to get her 3 more people so we can go tomorrow night, gang. So don't hesitate. 3 more spots.
I think she really wants to catch a really big lobster, like a really big one.
Yeah, she told Kelly she wants one bigger than Kelly girls.
We'll try.
Everybody wants one bigger than Kelly girls. But I finally got a little bit of that flu that we got. What are we calling it, Renee? The PCS flu. And we love you, Bill. We're just playing. But yeah, it finally caught me last night. Got me a little fever, a little cough, a little sore throat. But I got to spend the day yesterday with John and Tina Stanley, Justin. They came down on a cruise ship, and we spent the whole day together yesterday, and we had lunch the day before, and it was just a time. And now they're up in La Paz today, but I guys took them for a tour, Kelly girl and I, and showed them all around the town, and they got to see parts of Cabo that not very many people see, got to see all kinds of beautiful views. So we had a really good time. And then you got it Saturday, Lisa? Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, and I would say over 20 people got it. Justin even had it. You sounded terrible the night before last.
No, it was horrible. It kicked my butt right away. For the people asking, do we eat the snakes? No. Their answer is no. I'm actually
No.
I'm probably the most, or the, I don't even know how to explain it. I'm very conservative in conservation. So
When it comes to snakes.
I'm very highly on conservation, even fish. We keep what we can, and all the rest will release. If we're gonna go fishing, we're gonna try to catch every single fish we can, and we're gonna keep every one that we're allowed to keep. So that's just what we do. It's all through conservation, right? Even deer hunting. If I go out there and start shooting every single deer, there's gonna be none left. So when we go out there and we go deer hunting, we shoot what we are allowed to, and we watch all the rest of them.
Well,
So same thing with snakes. We don't eat any of them. I have den sites that we go to that are just loaded with hundreds of snakes. And when we go to the den sites, we normally find them. And I don't collect. I used to collect snakes a lot, but we don't collect anymore. We don't do anything like that. We just go photograph, do some little videos, and that's it. Let them go. So, what are we looking at here?
oh, I said, if you look, Justin, I don't think you're going to have to worry about it if we all don't show up to this meeting on the 16th and 17th, because it looks like they want to take away your hunting rights in California.
It's so crazy.
But as you all know, and I'm sorry, we got to talk about this, but now that we know we can make a difference, gang, it's going to be imperative that we all show up to this Zoom meeting on the 16th and 17th. The agenda, you know how they do this. It's a game. So they're going to leave the agenda out till the day before. So just set your alarms on your phone. Tell all your friends, family, everybody you know, we need to make a massive showing at this Fish and Game Commission meeting again. This is the same thing that we were at last week. We were at a month ago, and we're got to be there again on the 16th and 17th. They still want our sand bass. Now they want your Justin's deer. They want your sea urchins, which is ridiculous, because the sea urchins, what they did was they made a horrible mistake by not allowing us to get those sea urchins where the kelp beds are. So now they're going backwards and they're backpedaling, and they're going to try to put this on the agenda where they're going to allow commercial divers back into the MPAs, which goes against everything they stand for. If they're going to let the commercial divers in, they got to let the sport fishermen in. So as we get closer to this meeting, gang, we'll have a bunch of talking points like we always do, and we'll all show up and we'll do the best we can. We're going to give Brent a Valium before the meeting. Right, Justin?
Yeah, absolutely.
He's very passionate. We love him very, very much. He just, when that light flashes on him, he gets a little too wound up.
Right.
And we got to just keep our cool. We got to save fishing. It's up to us.
You know, one thing is too many laws cause issues. Too little of laws cause issues. So there's an equal balance in between. So,
yeah, well, to have any restrictions on recreational angling is just the most ludicrous thing in the world.
yeah,
it's just about power. It's just about control.
I challenge every single one of you watching this to go to any of the MLPA areas and go photo or video kelp beds. So you know, fish don't just nilly-willy swim around in the desert of the ocean. They go to structures, kelp, like a kelp forest. They have to have some kind of habitat to live in. They need that. They go to shipwrecks, rock structures, kelp forests, and so on. They need that. So if we go in there, and humans, which are like the parasitic thing in the world, we go out there and we start destroying this by making it so you can't go in there and you can't be a conservationist and start taking things that need to be taken out, and you leave everything to filter itself. What will happen is things will take over that you don't want taking over. Example, like Dave said, the sea urchins. The sea urchins have eaten all the kelp. They're not going to grow back unless you get them out of there. And it has caused a drastic effect in that whole area to keep and bring new fish and nutrients into that area. So that's why you see a lot more kelp on the outside of the MLPAs.
Absolutely. And I talked about it in the meeting last week, the Fishing Game Commission meeting last week. And they're talking about the lack of abalone in the MPAs, and that's because of the lack of kelp. Abalone is like the purple urchin. They love to eat kelp. They eat the holdfast. That's their food. When you take away their food, yeah, naturally you're not going to, I mean, it's the most common sense thing in the world, but there is zero. If you're watching these meetings and if you're seeing these people, there's no common sense at all. They don't play the tape all the way through. They don't wait 5 minutes to make a decision. They just go on whatever they're feeling like. It's all an emotional thing. And I tried to break it down so everybody would understand. We had a problem with the abalone back during our first El Nino that we all experienced. Now, I'm sure there were more El Ninos before this, but in 1983, the first El Nino that any of us really felt, that caused a withering foot disease to the abalone because the water was so damn warm. Then the water got cold again because it's cyclical. And now the abalone are back better, bigger and better than they've ever been in the areas where we commercial fish sea urchins. But in the MPAs where they're going to look for them, there are none because, like Justin just said, there's no purple sea urchins in those areas because there's no kelp. I mean, excuse me, there's a million purple sea urchins. There's no kelp there because if a piece of kelp even tries to grow, it eats it immediately.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, I started to act like my buddy Brent for a minute. You got And then Jason wants to know, Justin, what kind of a rattlesnake was the orange one?
So now that we're talking about this whole how the United States or California ruins everything, so talking about what kind of rattlesnakes they were, the very first one I posted, which was a reddish color, that one was a red diamondback rattlesnake. Those are protected, and it's because we keep building on their houses. So if we keep building where they live, we're going to destroy them, and that's exactly why they protected them. The other one that I posted, which was like an orangish color, a little bit smaller one, was a speckled rattlesnake. Those two completely different areas. Those are not protected. So,
yeah, Rick, you're absolutely correct. Now we have a thriving, I don't know if you call it a school or whatever, of pink abalone down at San Mateo Point, but San Mateo Point down below San Clemente is commercially dived. So it's the same thing. It's a catch-22. But this diamondback rattlesnake thing, it's a big deal because if you look where Justin's hunting snakes, 20 years ago where he was hunting snakes, there was no homes. Now he's finding little tiny areas to go hunt his snakes in, and they're all bundled up into these little tight zones because there's nowhere for them to go. And if they do wander into a neighborhood, oh my gosh, that's the end of the world, right, Justin?
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. And that's exactly what's going on out in the ocean too. Not that we're building homes in the ocean, but we're letting California representatives start blocking off all this area, basically like it's their own real estate, which is now destroying the habitat of that area. Little do they know. So, and like Dave always says, and Bill Varney and everyone always says, there is no science, zero science. Look at the science that went in. This is just an example of them releasing wolves into Colorado or releasing wolves into Montana. So think of it this way. You're a baby elk. You walk around, you're not used to gigantic dogs chasing you all over the place. You're like, oh, nothing's going to eat me. There's a slight chance of a mountain lion coming that's a big cat. And all of a sudden you have a pack of 20 or 30 wolves surrounding you. What are you going to do? So all these innocent little babies are now getting eaten by wolves that we decided, we need wolves out here. We need a ton of wolves. Well, little does everyone know, but they just released like 30 or 40 wolves in Northern California. So here they come. Get ready.
And it's the craziest thing. And I didn't even think about it, but like you just said, when I was on Cliff Gray's podcast and we were talking about the California sea lion, and then he started telling me about what they did with the wolves, bringing them in and affecting the population of the elk, which like you said, Justin, it's pretty sad to think about it, but no one wants to play the tape all the way through. And Devin Cruz just brought up a perfect example of the otters. I was just up in Alaska with Mike Lewis and Ron and Kelly and Jamie and John Milton and the Dryers. And we had a blast up there. But man, oh man, oh man, they reintroduced the sea otters up there, and there is not a crab. There's not a piece of shellfish anywhere. There's no clams. There's nothing. That bay, Gustavus Bay, has just been destroyed by the sea otter. And like Devo said, well, they're a little fuzzy animal. Everybody thinks they're so cool. They do a job. They just destroy environments. There was a reason why they weren't in Southern California anymore, because Southern California can't support the sea otter. But this whole thing that's going on right now with the MPAs and the closing of fishing and all the different things, it's all just a big facade to hide the fact that they're going to reintroduce the sea otter into Southern California. And they're playing this big game to keep our eye off the ball. They are on a mission, and they kind of brought it up at the commission meeting last week. And that was the first time we'd actually heard them say the words. But they're coming. They're bringing the sea otter back to Southern California. So you're going to see devastation like you've never seen before, gang. Devin knows personally from when they reintroduced him to Avila Beach, Monterey, and it's an absolute. You go to Avila Beach or you go to Morro Bay, and there is not a living crab or a clam anywhere. They've eaten every single one of them. But the last thing they want any of you to know is that they're on a mission to reintroduce this animal to Southern California. And if we don't pay attention, it's going to happen. So I'm glad we're all getting involved. I'm glad you all are showing up to these meetings, because you're getting to see how sleazy this whole thing is and how corrupt it all is.
Yeah, like Matt Ryan asked, wait until they attack a human. Great example. So now look at the California sea lion. This is just an example. The California sea lion was endangered. Like, what, 30 years ago? 40 years? No, over 40 years ago. Was endangered. There wasn't that many of them. So they started protecting them. Just like supposedly the wolves, right? So the California sea lion was starting to be on the endangered list. So they started protecting them, giving them, like Dave said, told everyone in the very beginning, giving them all these steroids, these shots, antibiotics, making them immune to every single thing in the ocean. Basically a superhuman of lion that swims in the water. Now a sea lion has attacked how many people? Can anyone count that has been on video? And what has happened to that sea lion? Nothing. They take the sea lion in, make sure they don't have any COVID or anything like that. That has affected the sea lion, make sure they're healthy, re-release them back into the ocean. So that's exactly what they're going to be doing with the wolves. They protect these animals so much that it destroys everything. So we, us parasites, have now protected the sea lion so much that it is destroying everything out in the ocean. And we will never, ever look at it that way. Not us. We will look at it that way, us fishermen and those of you watching. But all of these political leaders and everything will never look at it that way. And all these PETA people, they're going to look at it as, oh, it's a warm, fuzzy animal that's so cute. And they're going to protect it in every right they can, even if it destroys everything in the world. That's just the way it is. And it's horrible.
But for the first time in my lifetime, we the people can change all this. We just saw that with the sand bass thing. So if we show up to all these meetings, we can slow this hypocrisy down. We can actually stop it, for lack of a better word. We can slow it down if we show them that we're involved. The biggest problem we've had here in California is we the people are lazier than hell, and we don't show up to anything. And as I pointed out at the PCS show, why the industry was all there, the industry doesn't show up. So when the industry doesn't show up, no one shows up. So like I told all of you, look at our sponsors. Our sponsors are super involved, and they lean on me big time to be the mouth of the whole thing, but they're all involved. Promar and fishingbooker.com and Deckhand Sports and Okuma and Colder Ice and Real Quick. Those guys all know Dave Hansen is going to make a bunch of noise and he's going to cause a big disruption in this. So they're involved. The rest of these companies, you guys all were at
I'll be right back.
You guys were all at the Fish and Game Commission meeting on that Zoom call. You guys saw who showed up. It's going to be easy to reveal who the people are that show up to these meetings. And I'm at the point now where I'm telling you, yeah, we need to support CCA because that's the only voice we have at the table. But we, the people, need to show up to the meetings, gang. It's super important. We, the people, and it all comes back to what we're doing. Fishing wise, we got the opening day of Rockfish here on the April 1st. We didn't show up to the Rockfish meetings, so it's our fault that we're only allowed 2 reds right now. Now, we could change that when they reassess this, and if we all show up, maybe we can get some of our reds back. It's the most ridiculous law ever made because there's no shortage of rockfish. It's absolutely crazy, but we, the people, didn't show up. So when we don't show up, it makes it super easy, and it's as much my fault as it is everybody else's because I tried really hard for the first few years of this podcast and the first few years of my social media to stay out of the political realm. But now we know that if we don't get involved, nobody else is. So, yeah, it's cost me a lot of money to be involved, and I don't get paid to do it. And I'm not getting a penny to do it. And I talk about it on my show every day because I know how important it is. If we all don't show up, we're not going to have anything. So when people tell you, oh, Captain Dave, he's a sellout. No, he's not. Captain Dave's trying to save fishing for everybody that's watching right now, plus my grandkids, your grandkids, you, Dave Burris, myself, Devin, Cubby. We all got to do it. We got to do it in the heyday when it was so much fun. But it's good. We need to save it, right, Captain Al, for our kids and our grandkids.
I can't. I gotta turn up my volume. Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, hold on. I might be
Hang
going
on.
deaf.
We can hear you. How was fishing in the bay?
It was good.
That was a cool little black sea bass you caught. I'm going to try to throw that picture up.
Yeah, that's the smallest one I've ever caught. That's for sure.
Yeah, I've caught them that small before. It kind of takes your breath away when you see it the first time. You're like, wow, what kind of a tropical fish is that?
Right? Yeah, I thought it was a black sea bass, but I sent it to you to see what you thought.
Yep. That's definitely what the little booger is, but he's a cutie.
Yeah, I've caught that little guy obviously today, and then one day we caught a 10-pounder. Next cast they caught a 40-pounder, and then one day we caught an 85-pounder, all in the bay.
All in the back bay because they know where the food is.
Right?
They're going to where the food is. They know. Captain Al knows where they live.
You just got to wind around the swim bait every trip, and maybe you'll get lucky one day.
Oh, Justin, nice cough.
Oh no, that was I was throwing waters in the fridge.
Okay, well, tell everybody about your day, Al, while I load this picture.
Here, I'm gonna here, really quick. I'm gonna just introduce you to someone really quick, and then we're gonna go do something for 1 minute, and then we'll be back. So hold on.
What's going on there, guys?
No way.
How's everybody doing?
What's up?
It's puppy pickup day. I started at 4:30 this morning, and here I am.
You made
What's
it.
his name? Lobster?
I heard you guys. I don't need a Valium. I just need to My wife was driving over here with me to pick her up, and she goes, "They're talking about you." I'm like, "Yeah." Got a little crazy last time.
Yeah, but we love that. We all love you for that.
Oh man, yeah. We're gonna try to get out of here before traffic.
Okay.
My other bulldogs are sitting there waiting for their new sister.
Look at that. That's his new little baby right there. That's Brett's new little baby. That's his little baby girl.
She's gonna come on all my trips with me for 2 years. My wife said I could be a show parent for 2 years.
We're gonna get to watch her grow up on your show.
When they go get lobsters, when I bring lobsters home, my dogs just go crazy. They lick them. They're bigger than them, the ones I grab. So yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, well, we're excited to see it. We're excited. Maybe that little doggy will get you to stop cussing.
Yes, I'm working on it. I have a new channel for her. It's rated. There's no comments, and I'm gonna keep me out of it. My wife's in it. She's hot, so she might as well be in it.
Absolutely.
Well, it's good seeing you guys. I'm gonna listen to you guys on the way home. I'm gonna try to get out of LA before it becomes LA traffic.
Absolutely. Congratulations on your new little puppy.
Right.
Thank you, guys.
That's
It's
cool.
good seeing you all.
Safe travels.
All right, Al. So tell us about your back bay.
We didn't. I fished the middle of the bay. It was on the Riviera. Family of 5.
Okay.
We just fished the Shelter Island Pier area and downtown for like 40 spotties and 5.
Wow, really?
5 sand bass. Yeah.
40 spotties. That's a pretty spectacular day.
40 spotties before like 10, 15, because then the tide just kind of fell off the table. But yeah, they had fun. Pretty much all on the gulp and a couple on the swim bait.
Nice.
Yeah, it was blowing out of the north in the morning, and then it laid down. When I came in, it was flat, calm. But
nice.
Yeah, it's looking like we got some sunshine coming up, huh?
Yeah, that's what it's looking like. It's going to blow like a mother today. I'm just trying to get your picture loaded, but Justin had to cancel his lobster trip tonight. He's going to try to take anybody that wants to go tomorrow night. He's got one so far, Lisa. Hopefully he gets 3 more because Lisa doesn't want to end this lobster thing, right, Justin?
Hold on 1 second.
Can't hardly blame her when she's hooked up with Justin.
Having all that fun all the time. Crazy.
Right?
There he is.
Fat ones.
What'd the doctor say? Can you see?
I can. Yeah, I can see. I don't know if you can tell, but my left eye is kind of weird. I got that little cut right there.
Yeah.
They just took out a little, I don't know what you call it, like a little tag that was really bugging my eye. So now my eye's all droopy because it's numbed up.
There you go. Well, Al just got done fishing Mission Bay. Pablo is wide open, or not Mission Bay, in San Diego.
Get on my bay, bro.
Yeah. He just got done fishing in San Diego Bay this morning. It was wide open, it sounds like to me, till the tide stopped moving. Talk about that for a minute, Al, so everybody understands why we talk about that tide and how important it is, because it was wide open and then the tide stopped and they quit biting. Talk about that.
Yeah, tide's very important. It's more important than weather or water temp, tell you the truth. So here's the way I look at tide, and here's my analogy or whatever you want to call it. When the tide's slack, everything in the water is pretty much sitting there, right? And then once the tide starts moving, the bottom of the bay, the top layer of the silt gets uncovered, and then all those razorback clams and worms and ghost shrimp, everything's getting exposed and rolling around, and the fish it triggers them. It triggers them to eat. You know, once the tide stops, then they just sit there. We still catch a couple, but you get a lot of fish just barely pecking at your bait, and they get lethargic and they just sit there. You know, when the tide's ripping, they get in their ambush spots, you know, and wait for the stuff to roll by. That's why that gulp works so good. There's no action in it. It looks just like a razorback clam rolling around the bottom of the bay. But it's like clockwork, you know. Tide equals biters. Slack tide, they're just sitting there hanging out. I mean, I went over a big wad of them. I couldn't believe it after the tide stopped and we couldn't get them to eat. But,
yeah,
tide matters for everything, you know.
Well, it's just like current, right? It's almost exactly like current.
Right.
You get that tide moving in there, it's just like the current moving in there, and then the next thing you know, they start biting. But like we talked about on when I was up on stage at the PCS show, you're in the middle of a wide open spotty bite, and like you said, you had 40 fish, and then all of a sudden they stop biting. All you got to do, gang, is look at your tide chart and go,
Right.
oh, the tide just went slack. Then you start to put the puzzle together. But until you know why, that's what the cool thing about being on your Saltwater Guide, listening to Pablo and Al and Justin give you guys game plans every day. They're looking at all that when they're putting together the plans to tell you where to be at the certain time they want you to be there. There is a reason for that. It's super important, right, Al?
Right. And like a bay, any bay, right? So say it's the incoming tide. The water starts to move at the opening of the bay first. So, I mean, if you're out there for 5, 6, 8 hours, you say you got an 8-hour day on the bay that you got planned with your family. Well, obviously, it's an incoming tide. It just started. You want to go fish the opening area of the bay and work your way, chase the tide to the back, or vice versa. If it's an outgoing tide, it starts moving and you chase the tide. So that's what I did today, because it wasn't moving at Seaport Village when I first took off, but it was moving at Shelter Island Pier. So even though the pier bite's not really happening really well right now, I went over there to check it, because it wouldn't have been happening at Seaport Village either with no tide. So you just time it, And right. I think a lot of people know this, but on my meters, you can just click open the tide chart as soon as you jump in the boat and make your game plan for your fishing trip right off that chart on your meter.
Yeah, what's going to happen.
Or at home, if you have a tide book at home. But
what that tide's going to do. So real quick, we're going to get with Pablo in a second here, because you told me your boat's ready to go. You just need somewhere to park it. So
yeah.
Here, look at this. This is Al's little black sea bass. I finally got it loaded. That's Captain Al's thumb. That's how little this black is. That fish has potential to be 600 pounds, gang. That's a cool little fish. You know what my dad used to say, though, Al, when we'd catch the 4 and 5 pounders when he was running the boat, and someone on the boat would go, that fish could be 600 pounds one day. And my dad would go, not in your lifetime, bag it up. Right? I love my dad. That's
5 and 10 pounders are good eating, boy.
Yeah, they taste just like black sea bass.
Right.
But gang, we got the beginning of rock cod season coming up. Pablo and Al are going to talk about that and the rock cod squirts and all the stuff that you need. But gang, you got to get your rock cod squirts sooner than later. You get 15% off. When I made this video, you got 10, but now you get 15. Check this out. I don't know if you've been paying attention to our website, yoursaltwaterguide.com, but if you go and you look through the community section and look at all the pictures of all the great rockfish that Justin's catching with all of his clients and all the members are using, they're using these rock cod squirts, gang. These rock cod squirts are a game changer when you're fishing those rockfish. These things are already pre-rigged, ready to go. All you got to do is take them out of the package, you hook your sinker onto the already pre-tied swivel, and then you hook your main line, your piece of braid, right to the other swivel on the other end, and you have 2 pre-made hooks that already have squid lures on them, and these look just like the red crabs that these rock cod have been feeding on for the last 5 or 6 years out here in Southern California. These things are deadly. They work great. They also make them in a glow-in-the-dark white color. I like the pink ones the best. That seems to work the best for me, but you're going to go with whatever you prefer. But these are the rock cod. You know me, I've always liked the pink the best. There's the QR code right in front of Al's face. You get 15% off of that. And then Pablo, tell us what's been going on with your operation since the show.
Oh man, so got out a couple times, bug in. I actually went out last week with Justin, but yeah, my marina is just in pieces. My buddy Chris, he's been on the show before. He's running the operation down there, replacing all the docks at Seaforth Marina, not Seaforth Sport Fishing. We're just right in the same inlet there. But yeah, I asked him, I said, give me a status. And then he showed me a picture of, he said, that's your slip right there. And it was up in the air on a crane. So it's coming together right now. It should go quicker because they did all the demos. So now they're just going to float in or crane in and float in all the different pieces of the docks and the fingers and all that. Yeah, the boat's ready to go. She's serviced up very nicely. I'm going to do a couple more things since seems like I'm going to have a couple more days. But yeah, I'm ready to go at any time. I can launch it. It's just a little cumbersome to launch it like for a 4-hour or something. But I'm willing to go tonight, tomorrow, or Wednesday night for hoop netting. If anybody wants to put together a trip, I'm happy to go. And I definitely want to get out on anybody's boat as a guide. Just give me a call and I'd love to get out there.
And that was good that you said that, because that's what we haven't talked about for a while. Captain Al, Captain Pablo, and Captain Justin are licensed guides. They're licensed through the California Fish and Wildlife. They actually carry a guide license with them when they go with you on your boat. Something you all don't understand, there's a lot of illegal guys out there more than willing to take your money. They're very, very willing. First thing, like we always talk about, when Justin, Pablo, or Al get on your boat, when they're guiding you, they're going to want to know, see your fishing license, because they got to fill out their logbook. It's the law. So when you go out with somebody else and you're like, well, wow, you're only charging $300. Well, there's a reason. The guy isn't licensed. He doesn't really know what he's doing, but God dang, does he want to take your money more than you can even imagine. So you got to be very careful. Captain Al and I talk about this all the time. The amount of illegal people running charters and running guide trips and doing all that sleazy stuff is just overwhelming. And we're hoping that it'll start to be taken care of, because everybody tells us they want to take care of it, but we never get anybody taking care of it, right?
Yeah, and just recently, I think you saw it too. I'm not going to mention it too much right now, but on one of the Facebook pages, there was a little horror story about these guys, chartering, and then they didn't show up. The guy drug his boat down here, and then they were going to just guide him on his boat, and then they ended up jumping off the boat and they never came back. I'm like, man.
Yeah, but I got the insight on that.
Oh, you did?
What the guy did, he's a licensed guide. He did exactly what he's supposed to do. The guy that he went with, total scumbag. And you can tell because the guy, here's something that you need to all understand. When people post on social media, if they don't say the name of the person, then it's probably a bullshit story.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you what, if they're after me, they're after me. They tell everybody you're Saltwater guide. They make sure everyone knows Dave Hansen's name, how it's spelled. They don't leave anything out. So when you read something like that and there's no boat mentioned or no captain's name, right away you know it's a bullshit story. I'm sorry I'm cussing today, but we got to protect our industry. I talked to the guy that was involved. I talked to the owner of the boat. And yep. He did exactly what he should have done. I would have told you and Al and Justin to go do exactly what he did. I would have told you to get the hell off the boat. And we can get on to what really happened offline, because it was kind of a shitty situation. But
yeah, I'd like to get that offline. But yeah, the point is, there's plenty of fly-by-night guys. We all know who they are. They're out there, and like you said, we're licensed, we're bonded, experienced, and the guiding service for anybody listening is phenomenal. Even if you think you know your boat, even if you think whatever, but we go over everything meticulously, and we do such good checklists, and we go through all the safety functions of your boat, operations of the boat, safe anchoring, boat courtesy, all that stuff. Not to mention everything else, reading the currents, reading the waves, reading the wind, everything, how to fish your local fishery with what you're equipped with. And we make any recommendations. And, of course, people can hire us to go guide them and get whatever kind of fish they want, or if they want a trophy hunt or whatever. But it's more than just that. It's more about exposure to every single possible technique that we can share with you and leave you with basically a new arsenal to go kill a bunch of fish, and do it efficiently.
Right. Well, Captain Al and I, we've been having this conversation for a while. The amount of boats that are picking people up at the launch ramps in San Diego,
Yeah.
it's just tragic. It's so sad. We're going to hear something. We'll probably have a couple reports this season because, yeah, we all love lobster season, gang, but things are really going to start to get going here come May and June, July, August, summertime. That's when all the real scumbags come out of the woodwork. You're going to see boats sinking. You're going to see all kinds of problems. All you got to do is turn on channel 16 when you're out there every day, and you're going to hear it. It goes bananas. So as we're getting closer to what we call opening day, as we get closer to April 1st, we're going to do that show that we do every year. We're going to go through the top things that I believe you guys need to check before the season starts. And something that's really catches everybody off guard and they all can't remember is your batteries. The boat battery thing is something that always catches everybody off guard because they all think they just bought the batteries last year. And then they go down there in the engine room, Al, and they look and or just go in their back hatch and open it up and they look and they're like, oh, I bought it in 2021. That's already 5 years ago, gang. And if you're putting your batteries on a charger every day or when you get in at night on your yachts or when you get in on your Shingari or your Boston Whaler, Pablo, and you guys plug that boat in, you're cooking your batteries. So the chance of those batteries lasting more than 4 years, you're putting a lot of faith in your batteries and you got to be very, very careful.
Yeah. Yeah. And I have a really good, charging, like a smart charging system and all that. But even so, we're running them so hard. But I mean, I look at it like this, I come from a fire service background and we had daily checks. I mean, we had daily, weekly, monthly. So on all of our equipment. So a daily check, you need to go through that thing meticulously. I mean, just from A to Z. And that's what everybody needs to be doing anytime they untie from their slip and head out. You better have a really good daily check, and it could be a quick run through, but you need to hit all the safety items. And then the weekly is a little bit more extensive, and then the monthly is obviously more extensive. And I carry that into how I operate my boat. And and something unforeseen can definitely happen, and it does happen from time to time. But the more on top of it you are, the less likely that's going to happen, and it's probably not going to be something catastrophic. I mean, you can always blow a fuse or something can happen. A pump will go out, because sometimes you get a brand new pump and they're no good and they go out after a few months. But other than that, you got to stay on top of it. You got to do all the safety stuff, and you got to have a very good routine. And I'm going to throw out, Mrs. Hot Rod, Jeanette, she has such a good list. I mean, her list is insane. It's like, I'm like, wow, it's so over the top, but she knows her boat so good, and she knows before something's going to happen on that boat. I've been out there several times, and it's very impressive. But yeah, that's the key, is just having a system that you go through from A to Z every single time you go out.
All right, Devo, I'm going to tell that story, but I'm also going to answer Matt Ryan. So this is what we've been telling people the whole 50 years I've been in the industry. And Devin, he ran sport boats with my family, and Dave Burris. And here's the deal with sailboats. This is what I've always told all my clients and all my members and anybody that would listen to me. Think about sailing. You're on a little tube. You can't walk around on it. You can barely move on it. The boat's usually slanted sideways, so you can't move. You're bored out of your flipping mind. They usually bring way too many people, so you can't move. You can't go to the bathroom. You can't do anything on a sailboat. So the only thing that's exciting is to drive right by a boat that people are standing on, eating, drinking, music playing. They're enjoying themselves. They got to drive by them because sailing is so boring that's what you need to do. You got to go make it exciting. So they drive right next to Captain Al when he's on the anchor in the back bay, the sailboat will drive right, almost touching the side of his boat. When we're out on the ocean, they drive right next to us, Pablo, right? I mean, it's just the craziest thing. So what I've always said, it's because it's so damn boring. That's the only way you can make it kind of exciting for a split second. And then right after they do that pass by us where it looks like they're going to hit us, then all the people right after that, remember, they got to go to the bathroom. They got to pee. They want to move, but they can't, because remember, the boat's sideways. You ever seen a sailboat? Even when it's not sideways, it's sideways, and you're in a little tube. So that's that's what I think of sailboats. I was on one once. It was very exciting in my 52-year career. Me and my son delivered one from San Diego to Long Beach. It was one of the longest days of our lives. And then Devo was talking about when I showed up at a guide trip. I drove all the way to San Diego one day to do a guide trip with these guys. They wanted to go tuna fishing. The tuna were down there on the 425. I got down there. The boat was 24 feet long, counting the swim step. And there was 9 people plus me. And I got there. I got my stuff out of the car. I walked up because I saw this crowd around this one little boat. And I was like, oh, they're just talking to everybody. And I'm like, I started talking to the owner and I was like, these guys? And they're all, oh yeah, they're all going with us. I said, they're going, oh no, they're going with you. And he said, what do you mean? I said, I'm going home. I'm not going. He goes, oh, that's bullshit. You've got to go. You told us you would go. We're all going. I said, I'm not going. I'm going to get on Bloody Decks and I'm going to tell everybody. And I said, please do. Tell everybody Dave will not go on a 24-foot boat with 10 people. I want that to be public knowledge. I don't want anybody to ever mistake that. Yeah, so that was a nice drive, 4:30 in the morning to San Diego to get down there to see 10 people. Gang, if you're going to hire Pablo, Al, or Justin, just so you know, if you want to go fishing with these guys, Pablo, Al, or Justin, charter their boat. Take 3 or 4 of your buddies and go fishing. The day you hired me, Pablo, Al, Justin, Sonny, that's the day you want to learn. I used to tell this to all my clients all the time. I said, gang, when we get to Clemente or we get to Catalina or we fish on the coast, the first stop I stop at, you're going to catch more fish than you've ever caught in your whole life. Because I'm not going to stop if there's nothing there. And then you got to remember, I'm going to tap on your shoulder and say, we got to go. And they're like, well, what do you mean? I said, don't you want to learn? Because if the fish are biting and you're catching a fish, you didn't learn anything. You know that one spot, but you don't know what I looked for. Why did I stop? You didn't learn anything about the coast. You didn't learn anything about the island. The day you hire a guide, that should be your day to learn. You bring your phone, you record everything that Pablo or Al's telling you. You put in all the GPS numbers you can gather from the guys into your GPS, and you want to learn. But if you're going to take 3 or 4 of your buddies, especially with my buddy Captain Al Clowers, because he's my age, when we get on the boat, and I know you think because you paid us a couple bucks, we should do it. We're old men. We can't run around. We can't go to the bow, pull your anchor every time. We can't take all the fish off for your kids. We can't untangle all the lines. We're physically old men. We can't do that. Get your grandpa to go do it with you. Let me know how that works for you, because basically Al and I are grandpas. Now, Pablo and Justin, they can run around. They still got a few years left on them. And it's the day to go and have a guide on your boat. That should be the day you go to learn. And like I used to tell people all the time, Al and Pablo, they would go, Captain Dave, we want to go offshore. I go, well, then you don't really need me. What do you mean? I said, because when you guys go offshore, you're going to be out there fishing for boats the whole time anyway. And they're like, what do you mean? And I go, well, you guys are going to second guess me all day because you're going to see 4 boats parked over there and 3 boats parked over there. And I'm not going to go near them because I'm looking for fish. And then they start to understand. I go, the days that you take me on your boat as a guide should be the day we fish Catalina or the Coronado Islands or San Clemente Island or the Channel Islands. So you can go learn stuff. Offshore fishing, it's all about looking. Once you got the idea that you have to look, and find a kelp patty or find a piece of wood or find a breezer or find some birds, then you don't need anybody on the boat with you. The offshore thing, you should never waste your time with a guide. Now, I'm just saying that. Pablo, you do it, and Justin, you do it. Me and Al, we don't want to do it. We're going to hang back and teach you how to fish the Coronados. All right? So there you go.
Hey, Dave, you got to give the old guys a little bit more credit, though. So I can run circles around some of them youngsters still.
Yeah, but we don't want to.
Right.
That's not the point.
Hey, and then back to the guiding. Sometimes you can't get it all done in a day. You know, some guys I have to do multiple days. You know what I mean? With different stuff. You know. So
I said that for years, Al. They're like, oh, I guess we know. I'm like, really? You think you learned everything I learned in 52 years today? That'd be pretty sad.
Right. What's funny is when they call me and they give me a big old list and they say, yeah, I like to hire you for 6 hours. And I said, you need about 4 more or 5 more of those 6 hours. You know?
Especially down there in San Diego, it takes you an hour just to get to the ocean. And then you got to drive another hour to get back to the dock. So there's 2 hours of your 6 hours. And then you probably don't want to fish right in front of the harbor when you leave. You're probably going to want to go to a spot. People used to tell me all the time when I told them how much it costs, they would go, do you do half day? I go, I'll do 5 minutes for it with you. No problem. But there's a lot to this fishing thing, gang. There's a ton that you can learn from all of us. That's why the website does so well. That's why it has so many members. And if you haven't gone down the rabbit hole yet and watched any of our 500 how-to videos, I had a few phone calls this week from guys, so I just wanted to talk about this. If you want the GPS numbers, if that's why you think you want to sign up to our website, don't even bother. Back in 1987, I made a series of videos with Danny Jackson and Don Brockman and Joe Bongos, and we broke the California coast, Pete Gray, all these guys that have been doing this for long. We broke the California coastline up into a library, and we gave you all the numbers. They were Loran numbers, and they converted them to GPS numbers, and they're still using them, and now they make laminated charts from all of our numbers. And if that's what you want is the GPS numbers, just go spend the $10 at West Marine and get that laminated chart. It's got all of our spots on it anyway. The thing about our website and what Al and Pablo and Justin and I and Sonny all try to do is we try to teach you how to catch fish on these spots. So if you only want spots, my website's never going to do anything for you. The other thing we tell you on the game plans, and Captain Al will tell you right now, on the game plans, when we're telling you go to the X spot and do this, you have to go back and look at Al's videos on how to, or Pablo's videos on how to, or Justin's, because when they're telling you to go to spot X, they don't know how you fish. They're telling you how they would fish if they went to X. So if you're not fishing the way Al said to fish or the way Pablo said to fish, spot X will never work for you fishing the way you fish. And like I tell everybody, I don't want to know how you fish. I'm just telling you how we do it. And we're successful every time we go. So you got to take every piece of the website. You can't just get the GPS numbers. It won't work. Right?
Right.
Absolutely. And it's also very important to not skip any steps, not be like, oh yeah, well, I'm just going to do this, or no, because the recipe that we're giving is something that you can repeat over and over and over and be consistent with. And it's always, we can always point something out. I know Dave and Al, you guys can agree that we can always pick something that they did a little bit different, or they did not do, or they did in lieu of. And that's okay, but we have no control over, if you don't follow what we tell you to do step by step, we can't tell you what's going to happen, because Al and I are out there and Justin every day, and we're doing it like this. So if you follow how we tell you to do it, you're probably going to be successful. If you wing it and do something a little bit different, well, we can't really talk you through that, unless you call us and then we correct it on the spot, which that happens quite often. literally people will call me, I did this, this, and this. And I'm like, well, you didn't do this, this, and this. Oh, well, yeah, but okay, no, try this and call me back. And then they try it, bam, they start whacking them. And I'm not saying that we know it all. We don't. We learn every day we're out there. Al learns, I learn. But we're just telling you what is leading to the most consistent catching of the fish. And that's all we're trying to do is streamline it and help everybody get their kill bags loaded. That's it. Oh, look at that guy.
Nice map.
Nice.
That's cool.
Got it from some really cool captain guy over in the PCS show, you know?
Yeah.
Thank you, Al. Thank you.
Speaking about those maps, I have a bunch of them still. So whoever needs those charts, hit me up.
Yeah, those things are awesome. I got one of the fish identifiers from you, and I wish I would have got some of those maps, but there's time. I'm going to get a couple of those. I just got to figure out exactly which one is the best for me. But I think I'm going to get the individual ones for the areas because the detail in them is really good.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
The Catalina one and the Clemente one, the island one, gives you super detail along the, in tight. And then that Southern California one covers a lot of stuff, man. But really, you need the Southern California, and then you need the Clemente and the Catalina if you're going into more, and if you want to find all the little nooks and crannies in the island, you need the island ones.
But
they're cool. I use them all the time when I'm offshore. I'll be just cruising around out there and look at my numbers and then look at the map and see where I want to go instead of trying to zoom up your GPS, you know what I mean?
And Matt, all that stuff will be posted on the website here soon. We had to get through this big push for the PCS show, but all your notes and everything you did for all the spots, it'll be over there for all the lazy people that don't want to watch the videos. Matt's stuff will be on there, I promise. And Justin,
yes,
we got a couple minutes left. Did you sell out the trip tomorrow?
Ow, God bless it. Gosh dang it.
What'd your snake bite you?
Worse. I hit my funny bone. No, not yet.
Well, gang, this is your last night to go hooping with Justin. Pablo's going to try to run the next 3 nights. If anybody calls Pablo, and he'll give his number here in a minute. And Justin, give your number right now.
My phone number is 951-703-9442. And just to make sure we're a go tomorrow, I'll go with 3 people. We won't run a deckhand, but we'll go 3 people.
Woo!
Crazy.
Hey, and you have a chance to catch a 15-pounder, dude. You're like mambo lobsters.
You have a chance to catch a 1,000-pounder. But you'll never get it if you don't try.
12-pounders, dang.
Hey, maybe I'll come up and pinhead for you since I'm such good luck.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yep. So Pablo, give him your number. We'll go Pablo, Al, and we'll finish with Justin. And guys, we got to get him off the dock. These guys deserve to go fishing.
Yeah, I'm super excited for the next 3 nights, and call me to go out and get some bugs. And then obviously rock fishing is right around the corner, and I'm really excited about that. Go out with me, and we'll use those squirts and definitely load up the kill bags for sure. But call me at 619-431-3070, 619-431-3070. And I'd love to get out on your boat or get you out on mine.
All right, Pablo, thank you. All right, Big Al, you're in charge.
You guys want to go fishing? Rock cod opener, or better yet, go down the islands and catch Mexican limits? Give me a call, 619-800-3474, or you can go to my site, captainclowers.com. I highly recommend getting on the calendar for the summer schedule, especially on the Riviera, because it's going to get booked up. It's going to be an awesome season. So there's lots of killer dates available right now. Oh, one other thing, June 2nd, I have a full day Coronado Island trip, members only, that we have 3 spots booked. So we need 3 more to go. It's $500 a head for a 12-hour.
Okay, how do they get a hold of you?
619-800-3474.
Gang, get a hold of them sooner than later. These trips fill up quick. You want to get out there and go fishing with Captain Al Clowers on that beautiful Riviera, go to the Back Bay and go fishing on the Sagari. You won't be disappointed, I promise you. Like he said today, he had, I don't know, somewhere around 60-some fish today in a couple of hours. That's pretty spectacular fishing, if you ask me. I know it's not a big, giant bluefin that you had to spend thousands of dollars to go catch, but I don't know about you guys. I just like catching fish myself. Justin?
It was a kid's trip. Hey, one other thing with that Stringari on the Back Bay. I put that thing in there to take people to the Back Bay. It's not going to be online forever. I'm going to keep it online for another 6 weeks, and then it's going to be offline. That back bonefish stuff's not going to be available. So if you guys want to do it, now is the time. They are spawning, and everything is going on back there. So give me a call.
There you go, Justin. Last call.
Last call for fishing.
Your trip, if they want to go.
So I have 2 spots left for tomorrow now.
Woohoo!
If you want to get on, and we're running with 3 or 4 if 4 people want to go. But either way, we're going to run with 3. My phone number is 951-703-9442, and it's $200 per person, and we're going to go.
Sounds good, my man. Sounds good. All right, everybody. I want to thank y'all for watching our show today. Thank you very much. Check out Promar's phenomenal deals on all of the products. 15% off all the products. The rock cod squirts. I just put the QR code up over Pablo's face. That's how you're going to save 15%. Or when you guys are checking out, put in the code YSWG and the number 22, and you'll save 15% on all those products. The Akara jig, the Live Deception flash lures, plus those rock cod squirts. You're going to want to have a bunch of those. Get ready for the season. So grab the QR code, get over there and check it out. And gang, we'll be back with you tomorrow on Tuesday. Hopefully we're telling you Justin's sold out and he's going. Pablo's sold out and he's going. And Al's reporting from the Back Bay. That would be the best day of my life if that's what happened tomorrow. So give me a call if you guys want anything. If you want to check out our website, 949-374-0786. I give everybody a free look. And we'll see you tomorrow. Turn off the news. They're all lying. This is the only place you get the truth. And Elon Musk does not want your Social Security